Hello Curious and welcome back. In recent weeks, you might have heard a lot about sanctions being placed on Russia in retaliation for Putin's forces invading Ukraine. But what exactly does that mean? With many companies taking a stand and pulling out their goods or services from the country, social media sites being blocked, scenes of what that is like in Russia have been circulating around social media. But just how are these sanctions going to affect ordinary people? Will this have any major change for the brands and businesses involved in leaving the country's market? How are Russian influencers reacting to losing social media and their source of income? And could this have negative effects on more than just Russia? Stay with us until the very end to find out all about these cultural and economic sanctions being placed in the country and their effect. But before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit the subscription button so you stay up to date with the most interesting news from the world of entertainment. Before we delve into the topic, it is worth explaining what exactly are sanctions. In this case, most have been economic, and they are commercial and financial penalties applied by one or more countries against a targeted governing state, group or individual. In this case, it targeted Russia's financial system, the wealth of powerful individuals, and the country's fossil fuels. It was commented that the sanctions the US and European countries have imposed are the most restrictive ever imposed against a major economic power. The aim of all this was to punish Vladimir Putin and the oligarchs who support and depend on him, as well as to hit at the country's economy, as it would make it impossible to conduct normal business in Russia. As a result of all this, the Russian ruble is at an all-time low, which has caused the stock market in the country to remain shut since the sanctions were imposed to prevent a crash. If you want to know more about why the war in Ukraine is taking place, you can check out our previous video by clicking on the link above. Though for now, stay with us to find out exactly which sanctions were imposed and how that is affecting people. One of the first sanctions taken was to limit the ability to transact in foreign currencies and to freeze the assets of multiple Russian banks, as well as cut them off from the SWIFT messaging banks used to transmit information globally. Most notably, even Switzerland, which historically was a neutral country in conflict, has agreed to join in on the sanctions. Given that one of Russia's biggest imports are oil and gas, many countries have decided to ban them, such as the US, with the UK adding that they will phase out their oil by the end of 2022. Of course, as a protest to the war, many companies have decided to pull out their services and goods from the country. Those have included telecoms, medical supplies, vehicles, agricultural products, electrical equipment and timber. Major oil companies such as BP, Shell and ExxonMobil have all also pulled out of the country. Boeing says it is suspending major operations in Russia, including parts, maintenance and technical support for airlines in the country. Luxury brands have also made a stance. Fashion giant LVMH, which owns several high-end brands including Louis Vuitton, Dior and Givenchy, announced that they would temporarily shut its stores in Russia. The brand Kering, the conglomerate behind luxury brands such as Gucci and Balenciaga, had also done the same thing, as have Hermes, Chanel and Zara, to name but a few. As a result, many shopping centers such as the Evropeysky Mall in Moscow have closed down many stores, leaving the place nearly empty. People in Russia have also been blocked from being able to access entertainment services such as Spotify and Netflix. Major movie studios also made the same decision. Disney was the first entertainment giant to pause theatrical releases in the country, with Warner Bros. Soon following suit, announcing that the pause will include the latest blockbuster movie, The Batman. When it comes to media, many foreign news sites have also been banned in the country, meaning that now people will rely solely on Russian TV and productions, many of which feature propaganda. If the banks being frozen and the ruble being at an all-time low weren't bad enough, financial services have also been affected by companies taking a stance. PayPal have suspended its operation in Russia, as have several card companies such as Visa, MasterCard and American Express. This has also affected Russian content creators, as many will no longer be able to cash in their earnings, such as on YouTube, as ad sales have been suspended. Though YouTube has not been the only one, so stay with us until the end to find out how else other influencers are losing their livelihood. Swedish furniture giant IKEA had also pulled out back and closed their stores in the country, which had prompted many to swarm the shops prior to closing to do their last-minute shopping, scenes of which have been documented in videos circulating social media. And just like on January 31st, 1990 in the Soviet Union, people queued outside a newly opened McDonald's, so most recently they ran to the fast food chain restaurants for their last chance to get some food on the last day that the place is still operating. The videos of people queuing outside have have gone viral, as have an alleged photo of someone filling their entire fridge of burgers. Where food is concerned, more brands have pulled out, such as Burger King, KFC, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, as well as high-percentage beverage brands Carlsberg and Heineken. Where the tech industry is concerned, companies such as Sony and Samsung Electronics have pulled their goods from the country and stopped customers from being able to access the online stores. And in the case of Sony, it also includes the PlayStation Store, as well as importing software and hardware parts. Apple announced they stopped sales of its physical products in the country, including iPhones. Google has dropped Russia, state news and publishers from its news feeds, while Facebook parent company Meta says it will limit access to Russian state news outlets so they appear less prominently on news feeds. There have been a number of other companies that have pulled out, which include the travel sector, hotel chains, and that are just too numerous to list in this video. Speaking of Facebook and other social media, this is something that will affect many content creators and influencers. One of the most popular apps in the country is TikTok, which has suspended live streaming and content sharing for its users in Russia, citing one of their main reasons as the country's spread of propaganda as well as their new fake news law. This of course will limit content creators from reaching new viewers, and it will halt some of their income. However, one of the main platforms that will stop working for over 80 million users is Instagram. But this is not due to a move by the platform, but by the government itself, who announced that at midnight March 14th, the platform would stop working. This is a response to parent company Meta's decision to allow Facebook and Instagram users in some countries to call for violence against Russian soldiers. Russia has been steadily restricting access to online platforms in an effort to control the flow of information about the war and has already banned Facebook and Twitter. This of course creates issues for influencers who rely on the platform to make a living. It has left some of the creators in tears. One such person was reality TV star Olga Buzova, who has 23.3 million Instagram followers, who posted a nearly 7-minute video of herself sobbing over the impending loss of her audience. In the clip she said, "I am not afraid of admitting that I do not want to lose you. I do not know what the future holds." Though some had decided to retaliate by destroying items from the brands that are pulling out of Russia. One such person is Katrin Klimova, who has 6.7 million followers on Instagram. In a video posted online, we see Klimova walking up to a bin with shopping bags and a pair of sneakers in her hand. She dumps the shoes one by one and then pulls out 2 iPhones, which she smashes on the sidewalk. The influencer also disposes of clothes from Zara, Prada and Louis Vuitton in similar ways, which she cuts with scissors, tears and throws in the garbage. Commenting on the video, she wrote, "My response to sanctions. I don't know about you, but I can live without it. I'm tired of the persecution of civilians." However, there was not much sympathy for the influencers from internet users around the world. While people online have pointed out that these sanctions will affect regular people in Russia who may oppose Putin and his actions, and whom they feel sorry for, many did not feel the same about the influencers. People commented on these videos of either crying or destroying things by writing that there are people losing their lives in Ukraine as well as their entire livelihoods, and that the idea that someone is crying over Instagram is ridiculous. There had also been a fair share of comments which laughed at the Russian influencers, with commentators pointing out that they will now have to go and get a real job. Given the number of brands backing out of Russia's market, many had compared these economic and cultural sanctions to that of North Korea. Here though, it is worth pointing out that the country had sanctions placed on it years ago after they had conducted the first nuclear test. Another reason for the economic and financial sanctions has been to punish the regime of cyber attacks, money laundering and human rights violations. If you want to know how Kim Jong-un's luxury lifestyle is possible, you can check out our previous video by clicking on the link currently displayed above. Though for now, stay with us until the end. One of the most important things that many people have been asking is how will this affect the businesses and us in the long run? Where businesses are concerned, it is not 100% known. Most certainly, they will have lost a source of revenue, and depending on the number of stores they had in Russia, it could be a major one. Though it is worth pointing out that it is not known for how long these businesses will be out of the country or if they will ever come back. As for these sanctions affecting the rest of the world, in some cases, prices of certain foods will go up and some might disappear from the shelves completely. It is worth pointing out that both Russia and Ukraine alone make up 30% of the global agriculture export market, including grain. Another notable thing that is already being felt in many places in the world is the rise in the price of petrol. And with travel restrictions such as air travel and immigration, some businesses could lose out on skilled workers. So for how long and how badly these effects will be felt is unknown, as it is hard to predict how long these sanctions will be in place. So what do you think, Curious? Do you reckon that these sanctions will be in place for a long time? How badly do you think they will come to affect us? What do you think about these brands moving out of Russia? And what are your thoughts on all the crying influencers? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.